Welcome to DubLife Diaries, the podcast where passion meets the open road. I'm Joe Person, your host, and also a lifelong dubber. Buckle up, because this ride is just beginning. This podcast is sponsored by Volksmania magazine. Good times, great cars, awesome Volksmaniacs. Visit Volksmania.com to learn more about this class-leading VW magazine. All right. Welcome back to DubLife Diaries, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories, the culture, and the passion behind the Volkswagen community. And today, today is going to be a big one. If you're into VWs, if you've ever cruised in a classic Beetle or bus, if you've ever camped out, if you've really just admired the insane builds that roll into car shows that we're all familiar with, then you already know that the mecca event of air-cooled madness is Florida Bug Jam. And guess what? I have got the man himself, Mr. Randy Yoho, in the house. Not only is he the owner and promoter of the largest VW show in the Southeast, but this guy is also full of stories. From the beginning to how it grew into a massive must-attend event, pulling over 12,000 spectators last year, and more than 800 VWs register. Randy is not just an event promoter. He's a motorsports legend. He's been in the game for decades, running Dade City Motocross, building up insane events, and keeping the culture alive. And today we are diving into the real history of Bug Jam, the wild moments, the behind-the-scenes madness, and where it is all headed next. So grab a cold one, kick back, and let's get into it. Randy Yoho, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thanks for having me on. It's exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, listen, I appreciate the willingness, but just so the listeners know, I'll have everybody know, Randy was not hard to get in touch with. I called him, he answered, and he said he would love to do this for the Volkswagen community. So very approachable, super cool guy, just so everybody knows. All right, buddy, let's dive right in.
Yeah, and I think people need to know, if that phone number on the website actually rings on my cell phone. So we do answer a lot of questions, and we still have people that didn't pick up their trophies from Bug Jam calling, "Hey, can you get my trophy?" Which I absolutely hate, but we wish they would pick them up. But we understand a lot of them have to get out of there, then they forget, and they call us, and so we try to get those out to them because it means a lot to them.
Yeah, but the point was your phone number on the website, right? You click on contact and it's you and it's your cell. And like I said, you were happy, to do this, very approachable. So again, thank you so much. So let's take it back. How did all this begin for you?
For me, so we've been about 10 years, I think now, it's your 10th or 11th year. So the Fair Association was running it. They had 2 or 3 other promoters before that, and it keeps getting passed down, to the next guy. They run out of, like the fairgrounds, you just couldn't get enough personnel to run it. And it got to be more than they could handle. And it was an all volunteer group. And when they had it, it was just one day. So I think by the time from what I've seen, because I live in the area, the Volkswagens were backed up all the way to the interstate because they came right down 52, and those air-cooled engines were overheated. And I think the drivers got overheated waiting in line. And so even the way we do it, let them in on Friday a little early, we kind of pre-stage them in the field. And because of the package, they don't understand what it takes to get the personnel there to get the packets to them. But anyway, so the fairgrounds was going to close Bug Jam, and they came to me because I promote events and said, "Hey, can you do this, or would you be interested?" And I said, "Let me look." So I went to the Bug Jam and watched it. Then I asked him if I could have full control if I took it over, because I changed a lot of things. So my thought, I hate to go on to take something over that change it totally, but I think to survive, as the numbers were going down, I think to survive, we had to change a lot of things. And I think bringing it to a 2-3 day show, whatever you want to call it, the camping was a big part of it. Bringing the concerts and closing down Morningside, the road alongside, the racetrack there, to be able to bring the Volkswagens in the backside so we don't have all that overheating. And we got an A team as far as people working for us. Most of them are business owners that are coming over just to help me out. They kind of got liking the Bug Jam. It's from all the events we do, and I'm not kidding. It's probably one of our favorites as far as our personnel. They enjoy it, the people, and I've met a lot of friends, and
Yeah.
remember when I started, I never even knew what a Volkswagen was. I seen them go down the road, but
So,
so we learned a lot.
so you said it almost derailed. Fairgrounds was going to shut.
Yeah.
Then you got involved. You started making some changes. They were obviously good ones, but when did you realize, like, damn, this thing's blowing up? Like, when did you start to realize, wow, like this thing is really starting to become, super successful?
It took a couple years. At first, people were they weren't on board with this. Some non-Volkswagen guys coming in, he's going to run the bug jam, he's going to ruin it. Nah, 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 nah. So luckily we got with Robbie Johnson and a lot of the guys that were local people that had Volkswagen shops, and Larry Olson helped us a bunch. And I forget all the names. There was a bunch of people that helped us kind of get up to speed, and we listened to the people, like, hey, what's the problems that before I took it over, I walked around and talked to people, and
That was clutch.
yeah, and it was like, okay, these are their problems, because a lot of things people don't think about. They're going, well, we need to park them in class, then, well, you got clubs coming in and they got buses and bugs, and that's not going to work. You can't separate your friends. I think bug jam has got to be more the friends hanging out. So what I thought is it's a lot more inconvenience for us to be able to judge when they're spread all over the fairgrounds. But we've kind of figured out a program, and I won't say that the first few years were a little shaky. And we learned, we hired judges that were clubs, and unfortunately their whole club won. So,
Of course.
we learned real quick, like, well, that's not going to work. So it's been a work in progress, but the community's been very good to me. And I think we're evolving better and better,
Did you ever think it was going to grow to 12,000 plus?
No, I didn't think that, well, I was hoping it would, but we put a lot into turn it into a 2-day show. The first day we opened on Saturday, there was hardly anybody there. Then we come up with the idea, hey, let's let them pre-park their cars. So that way, if you're really serious about this, you get there a day early, you get a good parking spot, you're in a good mood, instead of coming in there that one day and getting a bad parking spot. So the people are serious, they get there early. The clubs get there early and get them a large area and they've been really, really good about not taking up too much room, because, we need room. We're out of room. We're busting at the seams at the fairground. So, and I think now that we've been there 10 years, I think our customers know what we expect. And, we try to make sure that we do a good job,
Well, you guys do. And with an event this big, for sure some crazy stuff has to go down, every now and then. What's one of the wildest things that you've seen in your 10 years of bug jam?
Them Doom Buggy brothers I don't know if you know who these guys are. I think they do a car show up in the Panhandle or whatever, but they're a handful in the beginning, but they've actually settled. I don't think they're getting older now or whatever, but we had the night parades that we now, with insurance and stuff like that, we can't do that. They would drive through the whole facility, and it got to be really big, and they got to party a little bit too hard, so we had to really reel that in a little bit. We wanted everybody to have fun, but we have to be safe and respect the fairgrounds. So there's this happy medium that we have to do this balance,
Yeah.
That's kind of it. It's been pretty uneventful. We got good customers. They come to themselves. They do their little thing. We don't have trouble.
You ever had any close calls, any disasters, even natural ones, like, weather or anything, last minute chaos ever in the last almost ruin an event for you?
Some hurricanes have come in and kind of, weather will ruin our show, basically,
Sure.
So luckily, the coins that we give out for pre-entry and stuff like that, that's went over really, really well. Commemorative coins. People have collected them. We started that when we brought in the event. The concerts are starting to finally take off a little bit. Advocate Health, being one of our major sponsors, allows us to be able to take 5 local charities in Dade City and give some money to from the event.
Awesome.
Like that in women's. We get the fairgrounds. We got a lot of different people we try to help out. and it's usually people that are involved with the Volkswagens and the Bug Jam too. So it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any celebrities or any big names that have rolled through over the years that are notable to you?
Hot VW was coming there for a while, and I think it changed hands.
Let's talk about maybe any other like insane builds. Like, do you recall any crazy builds? I know there's pretty crazy stuff coming through there.
Some of the it's so hard on judging. So when you talk about this stuff, what we have, I know Gary had those twin buses one year that won Best of Show. And I think the guy that won this year, I think he's won it before with different cars. So we got such competition to win Best of Show, which to me, I think is the premium car or bus or whatever. But there's so many good builds and so many good builders that are coming there. They're lined up, the vendors. We have a lot of those vendors. They're all there. Riverbanks Customs, all these different guys that build these incredible cars are there. And I think our judges try to, that's so hard, but you got some rat rods that are pretty good too, so they can compete up there with those $100,000 buses or $200,000, whatever they're getting into these things now. But
yeah, especially the super rare ones.
yes, and it's neat to see who what they're bringing this year, because now they call me, hey Randy, I'm bringing this. But we've had a lot of collectors that I don't know their names and stuff like that, and they come and say, Randy, I got these rare cars. Can I put them in the building? I said, sure, let's get it in there. And we had one of the other buildings in the county made them take the air conditioner out, but we had that other building where we actually invited the cars, and there when we first started, we had calendars, and we would pick. You had a calendar contest, and we would put the Volkswagens in the calendar, and that was really cool.
Let's talk about a couple of the activities that take place during the extended days, the 2-3 days. That we've got the Bug Jam parade, you've got the poker run, and you've got bugs on the track. Let's touch on the parade first. What makes the parade so unique?
Well, what they do, they shut down downtown, and that's been a little bit of a problem because there's some state roads that we can't shut down. So we can shut down the county roads, but we can't shut down like 301 going through there. So it adds a little bit of a problem. The police department's been really good working with us. They come out and escort us in. And
how many cars?
A couple hundred cars usually do that parade. Nice. And that maxes it out downtown. We usually have some entertainment, some music going downtown, and Beef O'Brady's gives away some free beers for the first 100 cars in line. And so it's been good. The parade, the downtown parade works really good because people want to drive their cars,
Yeah, for sure.
When
poker run.
The poker run we do for the women's, we let them sponsor it. They actually do the poker run spots, where you pick up your cards. They actually man that themselves. But a really, really good cause for abused women, and we donate some money to them for doing the poker run. But that's became really a neat thing because we take you, it's pretty scenic up there through the hills. People don't realize in Florida, we do have some hills. So we got some pretty scenic routes. We try to change it up every year. And then we give away like $500. And a lot of times the people donate it back to women's. So yeah, the sponsor for the Bug Jam, the Sunrise of Pasco, it's a women's shelter, and really good group. We've worked with them ever since I've been involved with the Bug Jam, and it's going to a great cause.
Awesome, man. So let's talk about bugs on the track. I even knew of a couple of guys that were on the track this past year, but let me hear about this one.
So we take the motocross track and we tame it down and try to get it to where, because it's hard to turn. So we need longer radius turns, which we learned after the first year, take out some of the jumps, then we got some pretty sandy portions in the back that we have to route around. But that's been a big hit for the off-road guys because, they don't get chances to do this very often. So,
right.
So it's kind of totally different group. You got the high dollar guys, you got the rat rod guys, you got the bugs on the track. They're all different, but they're all Volkswagen people. So we try to make sure that we take care of all of them the best we can, because we need them all.
Yeah, and you're right. Whether it's a different avenue for which car or which, if they're bus or Beetle type guys or on road or off road or up high or down low, it's all the people. And that's what makes this community so special. I'm gonna ask you that though. So what is it do you think about air cooled Volkswagens that just makes them so special?
You know, I I'm from, I'm 66, so I'm come from that 70s when you had points and it didn't work. And I like that myself, like Volkswagens, you better know how to work on it, you know, in order because to keep them running. But I don't know, that's very attracting to me still, I'm hoping to get a bay window bus one day. I think it would be cool to have one. My biggest problem right now is just having a place to store it. But I would love to have that old painted up, looks like it was an old work truck with bug jam on there.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen one day.
Yeah, good. So there's been a culture shift over the years. How do you think, in your opinion, kind of almost an outsider's perspective, how has the scene really evolved?
It's changing, as I think on all this, because I've had vintage motorcycles and collections myself, but let's say the people that drove those buses as teenagers, the unfortunate are dying off. So we do need, we're seeing a lot more young people in there coming back, restoring these buses. I think it's a cool hobby, for a lot of people. But it's definitely changing. I would say we're half Latins, at least. But they love them. We brought in that Latin band this year, and I was been trying to get it to happen for 2 or 3 years, and it went over really, really well. I was really enjoying watching the party go on because those Latins can party now.
Yeah.
They have a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know you guys are active, at least you are, more recently on social media. That's something kind of new too, that's evolved over time. We didn't have that, back in the 90s and the turn of the millennium, even in all the way up through 2010 or so. There was really no social media. What's the role that social media has played in helping you guys grow Bug Jam?
Well, a big part of it because now we can advertise stuff really quickly on all the events we do. We can put on an event in a couple of weeks if we need to, and it's great to be able to talk to people through the social media too. We have a full-time guy that does that for us. We kind of direct them, but he kind of keeps up with questions and what's going on and that kind of stuff. So we stay on top of what's actually happened because we do have a lot of special requests from people. Especially parking and special cars and collections they like to bring in. And, they're concerned about these cars.
Sure.
Can we leave them overnight? Are they safe? And knock on wood, it's just a good community. We don't have problems.
There's the community, good
We don't have problems.
and the higher you get, like to closer to the top shelf of the community, the cooler they get. It's like, they're just a bunch of dub people
Yeah.
that end up with some of the rarest cars. And, I certainly love seeing the ones that are kept inside and stuff when I come out. Today's generation of kids, or I can really just say today's generation, do you think they're as passionate about VWs as, maybe our generation, my generation, your generation?
I would hope so. I think, because we were wondering, like, hey, as these people are getting older and dying off, is the bug jam going to go away? But it seems to be getting bigger and bigger. So,
Guess that answer is yes then.
yeah, and I think it is because we got new kids getting involved, with the
Yeah.
cars and stuff. And
I certainly see it. I was going to let you answer, but I see it. I see the younger, generation, even my own sons, teens. One of them is 15, not quite driving yet, but he's already talking about, well, Dad, I'm driving that thing all over the place when I get my driver's license, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I want that desire, And then I had an opportunity to take one of my sons, my last one that got his driver's license. He's 16 now. He was going to go test in my Carmen Ghia. My wife has a 71, and he was going to go take his driver's test in it. And he's like, yeah, I'll never forget that. Well, we got in it that day to go test in it, and one of the requirements is you have to have a horn that works.
uh,
My horn didn't work that day. So he couldn't test in the Ghia. But yeah. So
he had the right here. He would remember that forever if he did that, And
I know. I tried. I got one more to get his license, two more actually to get their licenses, and I'll hopefully have them test in something cool like that. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think they are, it just as passionate. I feel like the more they get into it and the more customized and unique the culture continues to make it, I think the cooler it'll be over time as well. And you have those young kids that just like the classics. They don't want them lowered, they don't
Uh,
they just want them stock, and I value that too.
that's what I would have. If I had a bus, it's pretty much going to be stock.
Yeah, yeah,
It's pretty much, just like it came. And
yeah.
yeah, I'll get one soon.
So what's the most dedicated VW owner story that you've heard?
No, this guy Jeff that comes out there, I don't know, I don't even know his last name. He has the best time of anybody. He builds some of the craziest, brings in these crazy cars, and he just loves it. I mean, it's fun because every year I'll go, Jeff, what are you bringing? What'd you build? And he'll call me during the year and say, hey, I'm building this. What do you think? Send me pictures of it, because they love it. It's all there is to it. He just can't wait for Bug Jam, and,
Yeah.
and
Well, he gets to show off to 12,000 plus people. I mean, it's a pretty big platform.
I don't think people understand, like on my motorcycle races that we've done for 46 years, it's a lifestyle. I'm in second, third generation of people. Bug Jam around 37 years now, I think. There's people been doing this since the first one, and it's part of their life, and that's why it needs to continue, and hopefully we'll be able to work with the fairgrounds and hopefully one day it gets so big we don't know what to do with it, but
My
right
my
now
first, my first one was 96. I still got pictures of it back when you actually had to have your pictures printed at Eckerd's.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, one of the things I really liked when I first started, we had photographers that come up and we had a little display and as the cars came in, they took their picture, but now everybody shoots them with their phone. So they don't even buy the picture. So the guy doesn't come out and do it.
oh yeah, it's like a dying craft, but I still feel that it would do well as long as presented properly. Because like you said, nobody has the paper copy anymore. Everybody's got their phone, and that's it.
And that's what they do. They shoot the picture with their phone and that's, I guess, I don't know if the key is just do digital prints or not even prints, or just give them the digital on a thumb drive or something.
Right, or just text it to them.
Yeah, because I would like to see the photographer come back and
Yeah,
have that Volkswagen pull up in front of that sign like we used to and shoot a picture of it. Like, hey, I was at Bug Jam.
yeah, yeah. Heck yeah, it's like the red carpet picture,
Yeah.
for Hollywood for your car. Yeah, very cool. What's the farthest location you think that you recall that anybody's traveled to participate in Bug Jam?
I know they've come from Washington State. I know they've come from Maine. They drove the cars, because we give away an award for the furthest driven.
Oh,
So I know a bunch of guys. I think last year was Chicago. They drove, but we have people call me from Japan, different places that come on. Dominican Republic. A lot of people come from Dominican. So they're coming from all over the world, and I think we could do a little better job. I'm going to try this year to promote a little earlier. I even got to change the website. The dates for the new one's not even on there, so it's going to be November 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's always the weekend before Veterans Day.
that's an exclusive. You heard it here first.
So we talk about this, but I guess there's no excuse. But we get busy and we're going from event to event. So and I'm getting older, and I don't know if I can keep up, but we'll see what happens.
So, if you had to describe the VW community, these awesome people, in just 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
We got kind, and we got not so kind. we got everything, but I think everybody's happy to be there. Everybody's in a good mood. You got to realize they're on vacation. They're there once a year. They're there to have a good time. And what we've learned, we got to realize that. So we got to try to help them if we can, within reason. I've had guys pulling buses up there and say, I'm parking here and I don't care what you say, so that's, we do have to deal with some stuff like this. And unfortunately, we have to remove a few that don't want to go by the rules because it's not fair to the person that got there early and got in his little white box and is it within the guidelines? But majority of people are pretty much understand. You got to remember on the backside, we got the fire department to deal with, fire lanes. We got the county, they come through and inspect. And so we got a lot going on behind the scenes with road closures, working with the police department, making sure everything's safe. Yeah, so there's a lot of spokes in this wheel that go down. And but like I said, it's uneventful. There's not a lot of problems. It's very easy for me to run this event compared to some of the other ones that I run throughout the years.
So how's a VW guy compare to a muscle car guy?
Uh, I don't know. Those are tough questions because I'm I'm not around the muscle car guys that much. Probably as far as myself growing up, I was always a motorcycle guy. So
Let's change the question then. How's a
get the motorcycle guy?
Motorcycle guy.
Yeah, they're probably pretty close to the same. I mean, they're passionate about what they do. They love what they do, and they want to do it no matter what. As a racer, we just happy to have a place to go race. And I think the Volkswagen community is the same way. What I'm seeing, they're happy that we have this place for them to come. And we have an open policy with Bug Jam. We promote other Volkswagen events. We help them if they ask. Or so it's not something that we go, wow, we don't want competition. I don't think it's competition. I think it's building the community.
Yeah.
And I think, guys come in and want to hand out flyers. We let them do it. We don't hold that back. It's a good thing.
What are some of the biggest business challenges of running something that's this size?
Permitting, getting it permitted, making sure your leases are secure, far enough out, actually getting the awards, the t-shirts. We catch a little slack on the t-shirts last year, which is justified. So Ian, the guy that does the pencil art in the building, he's going to do the t-shirt design for us this year, which we pretty much had kind of the same designs, the same guy helping us every year. So they look kind of similar. And so we're going to fix that because we heard a few people comment about it. I go, you're right. So look for a different Bug Jam t-shirt this year. How's that?
All right. Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know what Ian's going to come up with because he does those scenes, So
yeah,
we're going to have to shoot a picture of the fairgrounds or the building I don't know what, that's the artist guys that come up with that idea,
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be something awesome, especially if you told them to change it up a bit,
Yeah. So I'm going to keep my nose out of it, and leave it to them. They're the artists. So you delegate something to somebody, you got to let them have within reason,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
That's good leadership. So the economics of an event like this, how do you maintain or make sure that it remains profitable? Because at the end of the day, I know you can't just do this for what it costs.
No, it's got to be profitable, and we do give back just pretty much all of our advertising money back to charities, but we make our money off the vendors and the gate fees and stuff. But as things get crazy expensive, leases are going up at the fairgrounds, insurance we're in a crisis right now.
Yeah,
motorcycle end of that. We don't want to run them off. We want to keep. There's a fine balance. If I charge too much, they don't come, and if I can't charge enough, I can't afford to do events. So, but I think we're pretty comfortable right now. We got a good thing going.
I think you said it best. I think there's that happy medium, and it seems like it's a great event every time we come out, and this is the voice of the community.
Yeah.
I think we all realize inflation is there and everything else that comes with it. As long as there's a sense of communication, even through your social media and branding, that hey, it's not cheap to do something like this. I think we all appreciate Bug Jam so much that we'd all step up to the plate still.
Well, I like being transparent. That's why my phone number's on there. You got a problem? I don't want to fight it on the internet. I want you to call me. And a lot of times you see the backside of the problems that we have. You don't understand some of the stuff we talked about. I think we're very fortunate to be somewhat politically connected in Dade City to where we can do road closures and put on major events like this, which is good for the city.
Sure.
Brings a lot of people in there, and
Yeah.
we were heavily involved with tourist development for years when we first came in there. Then that programs went away, and that was a big hit because there was a lot of money that came in through tourists to help put on the boat jam.
Sure. Sure.
And we were Pasco County's number one tourist attraction that they were supporting. So now they've kind of got into the hockey thing, and as relationships change and different people, delegate that money differently, we don't get any now. So, but Bug Jam's got big enough to where it can stand on its own. So, and I think that program, what they were explaining to me, it is for starter programs to try to get people on their feet, and so it helped a lot in the beginning, and
Yeah.
we still on our own now.
I was going to say it worked. It worked. All right. So earlier you hinted on this, and I wanted to dive into it just a little bit. You mentioned the Dade City Motocross. How do you balance Bug Jam and the motocross?
Well, it's an event, so that's what we do is events. So they're very similar. I mean, I've done BMW events, Hummer events, Jeep events, all kinds of different events that we put on. Kim with Reeves, we did a lot of stuff with her when she owned Reeves there in Tampa. But and all the different people are totally different, how you handle a Jeep person, a Volkswagen person, or they have different needs, different ways of seeing the world. So it's kind of a challenge, but it's no different to me. The setting up, how we're doing the social media, how we get the trophies, how we get the insurance, how we get the road closures. It's pretty much the same. An event's an event. So it's just a matter of the experience now that we have 10 years under the Volkswagen putting on Bug Jam. We kind of know what to expect, and we can't control the weather. But the pre-entry is what really helps us put the event on smoothly, and if you really watch like this year, there wasn't hardly any lines coming in off Morningside when they were coming through. And by spreading it out
it was all the lanes.
Yes, we got multiple lanes. We got 7 or 8 girls there.
Yeah.
We're kind of like Chick-fil-A, we're trying to get them in. And
Yeah. Hey, man.
You can't get a better one than Chick-fil-A,
Noticed. I noticed. I saw those lanes, and it was very efficient. I didn't wait long at all.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was pretty awesome. What's the most stressful part of show week?
judging. I mean, that's because you got a car show, and judging is important to those people. They've worked all year long on those cars, so getting the judges to understand, and it's subject to what you like. You'll pick a car totally different than me. So it's tough. I really feel that our judges are doing a really good job considering the tasks that they have. We've broken up into several different zones, and people kind of know when to be, we're judging this area at a certain time. We don't have people from clubs judging the cars. They're car people, but not necessarily Volkswagen people. So I think I just don't have a lot of complaints on judging. And when they do complain, we pull that scorecard and we look at it and find out, did we make a mistake? So we don't blow it off,
right?
And we show the guy that, this is why you didn't win, or the interior was where you got, less points for. And a lot of people want to know that because that way they can go and improve in it next year. So
we did a couple small shows this year, me and my buddy down here, St. Petersburg area, and we let the sponsors judge.
Yes.
Because some of the sponsors didn't even really have anything to do with cars. So that's really a good opinion,
I agree. I think, at first we got a little like, well, they don't know Volkswagen. So I'm going, I don't know if that's necessarily.
They know what good is, though.
Yeah, they know what good is. This is a cool car. I like it,
Right. And they're not biased at all.
Right. So I think our formula is there's no perfect, but we definitely think about it a lot to try to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And if people think we're not, pick up his phone and call me,
Yep. Like I said, you're not that difficult to get in touch with at all. So if you could go back 10 years and change just one thing, what do you think that would be?
I don't think it changed anything, truthfully. I know I like the direction we're going. I
Okay.
think I think the, change to the 2 day show, bringing in people early. I would say that first day when you come in on Friday, we got them staged out in the field. We leave pre-registration open probably a little bit too long because people are really kind of watching the weather before they pre-enter.
Right.
And
Especially lately, last 5 years, because hey, November, we might have a hurricane coming.
yeah, so that's very true. So behind the scenes, for instance, you got to remember we got to order your t-shirts by the size, and we do sell, so we do have an overrun of t-shirts. We've got to get your packet. Are you camping? Are you a show car? Are you doing the poker run? All these things go into your packet. So those packets take 4 or 5 days of three girls putting those packets together so we can streamline that registration when you get there. Then when you get guys that show up day of show to sign, we try to put them in another line because that's going to take a little bit longer. We're trying to get the right amount of awards for day of show entries. We've got to kind of estimate that. And now that we have a track record of 10 years, we kind of know how many cars we're going to get day of, pretty close. So having the data available to us now has helped a lot. So that experience of doing these. But I don't think I'd change much. Like I said, I'm open to
That's a fair answer. That's a fair answer. Even if you would change nothing at all, like you said, I think that's a fair answer. So let's touch on this then. What's next? What can we get excited about? What's next for Bug Jam in the coming years?
I think we do need to reinvent a little bit right now. So
that's what I was actually going to ask was how do you keep it fresh year after year? Because like you said, right, the culture is kind of getting older and dying off, and these new kids, like, do you have to change, the way that things are planned, or the audience that that's one of the, as a show promoter, right? You have to target the right audience.
And truthfully, I think we're at the time where we're ready. We need to start, and bringing in the Latin band was something that I thought should be done.
Yeah, good idea.
It did go over good. So that's just one idea. Okay. But because truthfully, to me, the concerts cost a lot of money. There's a lot of money spent on the stage, the sound, the production of that. Local bands getting the chance to play on big stage like that is really cool for those guys to get to do that.
Yeah.
We brought some pretty big talent, but it's not profitable. I can tell you that. It's probably one of the things we spend a lot of budget on that we don't get a lot back on, but it's the vibe. I think the vibe's important at night. You can hear it down in the primitive camping. They hear the concert. They're down there having their own little party going.
Yeah.
But it's the overall vibe. And I think if that wasn't there at night, it would be different, So
can you think over the years of something that you haven't done that you've thought about that you wanted to do?
No, you see, I think a lot of it is the liability. I loved when we had those night parades and everybody drove around at night, and it was kind of cool. But insurance is, having a fit over that, so we had to get rid of that, which was.
You're a St. Pete guy, I believe, a Gibbs High School graduate. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I saw that. So you'll appreciate this. The V-Dubs Over the Skyways run 26 years. This year is 26, actually, April 13th. And we started the first night ride over the Skyway just last year. So 26 years of V-Dubs Over the Skyway running on a Sunday morning. This past year, we did in November, actually the weekend after Bug Jam. The prior ride for the daytime Sunday ride, we had about 400 that ended up showing up. We parked at the Trop, lot 5 across the street from the Fergs, and we got down. It was awesome. But then later in the year, in November, you know how it is to have a show and it's successful. Everybody's like, do it again. What's next?
Yes.
So we did the next one. We're like, hey, let's do it at night. We did it at night, and it was like half the amount of people showed up. Now, granted, we had 2 hurricanes come through here and do some damage between those times, but That's what I was going to say. We did a night ride too. And all the cars, November, late November, were tricked
Yeah.
out, Christmas lights, LEDs. We had a light contest. We gave away a custom made trophy for the best lit up car, essentially. So I know that vibe right there of the nighttime stuff. What a cool vibe that is.
Yeah. And I would have thought the night would have been more successful, but uh,
Me too.
I would have went for that risk. So when you said something about the cars, but what about, are Volkswagens, I've heard some pretty good stereos. Could we do a stereo contest in these bucks, or is that out of line, or is that something that's,
Hey man,
I don't know.
yeah, that's like the old school lowrider contest. They used to have bass and they'd have the hydraulic bounce and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. And yes, stereos are super important in sound.
Because we could bring them right up in front of the stage. We got room, and especially we knew we were going to do that, and we could line them up and bring them through, let them do the little thing. And but because this is how you come up with new ideas, is you brainstorm with people,
Yeah.
and like said, oh yeah, maybe a stereo
Hey,
contest.
that's one way. That's how you keep it fresh. So
We'll call it. What if you sponsor it with your name? So we'll support you and let it be the stereo.
the DubLife Diaries stereo contest.
Yep, and you run it. You can take the heat, and I'll provide the trophies and stuff. So we'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So if you had an unlimited budget, what's one thing you'd add to Bug Jam?
I would probably really go really big on the awards. I think they're really important. I think we give away some pretty nice awards, but I would really go up on the awards for the people. I hate to keep saying, but it just seems like everybody's really happy. I don't know what I would do. We could bring in some more talent on the bands and bring more people in, because as I've promoted music concerts and stuff, but unless you got a really big band, a big name band that's current, you're not going to draw people that are going to pay a ticket. So, and that's why I think just the vibe that we're after there. But I probably gained about 10 pounds during Bug Jam, because there's some good cooks there, because as I drive around, Randy, come eat, so I'm eating all night long, and
Know who to follow around next time.
I try not to drink at the event, so I will get into the Bug Jam, the bug juice there, but but I got to stay pretty sharp in order to take care of problems,
So over the last 10 years, you've had a lot of fun. You've seen a lot of stuff. What's one of your favorite memories from the past Bug Jam shows that you've been a part of?
I tell you, when we brought all the original owners from the Bug Jam that started it, and this was probably in year 5 or so, Jeannie was there when she passed away a couple years ago, which she was right before the fair. But we brought everybody up that had a part of Bug Jam in the early days. And I think they were all surprised, because I don't want to tell people I started this show. That's not what it's about,
Right.
I'm just at the reins right now, and who will come in after me, I don't know, but right now, that was one of my favorite things that I put together. I got everybody that started the Bug Jam up there on stage,
That's why it's so successful, brother. Your heart's in the right place, man. Absolutely. That's a great answer. I appreciate that. I'm sure the community does as well. Do you recall, as far as cars that have come through there, and any that have been like super rare?
I'm not so up on the Volkswagen, but I think they had one of those Volkswagens in the Dan Cannon this last year that belonged to some of the celebrities, different people. They're pretty rare cars to begin with too.
Right.
Then who owned those cars beforehand. And I think the story behind the car is important to me. When they got a history and a story, like, this is my grandfather's car, we restored it and this and that. And, I that's what's important to me. I like going around and listen to those stories about the cars.
So I've got a question for you that I'm gonna ask every guest that comes on the podcast, and they have to answer it as honestly as possible. What is your favorite VW model of all time? I have a feeling I heard it earlier, but I'm gonna let you take
Yeah.
it because I think
No,
your favorite of all time.
I'm trying to be, really look and say, if I could have any one I wanted, what would it be?
Yep.
Yeah. And I see a lot, I know it's pretty plain Jane, but I'm still a bay window guy, I would probably get the bay window bus, and I think camping in the bus would be fun for me. Uh, I probably won't like it the next morning because I'm gonna sleep on a good mattress, but uh,
Yeah, you
I
can put a
think,
good mattress in one of those things, man. I,
yeah,
I I think a bay window, bug jam bus, kitted out. You got a ton of talent that comes out to that show. Somebody can make you one like that.
yeah,
You
and
know,
I don't want it totally restored. I kind of like it, original with the old paint on the side that said, Bug Jam, and
yeah. Put this
you
this
know,
this
you
little
know,
logo on the side. Yeah,
but
yeah,
old painted, and not modern and not perfect. I would really like him to have a nice running gear. I want to run good.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I get to drive a lot of cars because people bring me cars during Bug Jam. Hey Randy, you want to drive my car? And we had some influencers that were on the internet that came in, and we brought a bus, and they did the poker run, they did the parade, they did everything. And they had a bunch of people coming in camp and motorhomes and stuff. And that was a cool promotion. And it went over well. They got a lot of views, and they got to drive a cool bus and that they never experienced before. So it was kind of neat. I like little things like that we do behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're about to wrap this thing up. I do want to ask you before we do, though, what would be some parting advice that you could give to VW enthusiasts that are going to venture out, maybe haven't been to Bug Jam, maybe ones that want to come? What advice would you give them?
Come on, come on to have fun, and just don't. It's just a good time, and you're going to see so much in that swap meet area. If you're needing parts, that swap meet's out of control. We get people from all over the world because they know how much stuff. We had 147 swap vendors last year. You know,
Good night. I remember being out there. I went and checked all out there. I was
yeah,
looking for a thing bottom rail for my windshield because
yeah.
I tested, and I was flabbergasted. I'm like, well, wow. Like, where do I go? This football field or this one?
Well, I think that what I would recommend is do the whole thing. Do the parade. Do the poker run. Watch the bugs on the track. Come to the concerts. Realize there's just a lot to do at the Bug Jam. So, come early, get you a good camping spot with your friends, make it an event, because you're not there with your friends. It's a lot more fun when you're a group of people.
For
And,
sure.
and we see probably 75% of them are big groups, but I would say do more of the activities. And that's what Saturday was built around, was we thought we could get Saturday to go if we made an activity day. So that's when the poker run's going. That's when the parade's going. That's when the concerts are going. All that Saturday. Then we get serious on Sunday with the show. So, and everybody's been really good. You put your tent up on your spot and you go out and do those activities. You come back and your spot's there. People have not, I don't think I've ever had to go talk to somebody that took their spot.
Well, the community is used to that type
Yeah.
of hangout. That's what they do. They go, they get their spot, they set up, they put all their trinkets and stuff out at their buses,
Yeah.
and they set up their spot, and that's their safe space. And
Yep.
that's what it is really across the country at a lot of these shows.
And that's one of the things we learned from the first couple bug jams we did. We ended up making the spots bigger, you know. And I think we got a little bit of probably one of the problems we have is people thinking they can take up two spots, which would be wonderful, but we just don't have the room. We pretty much filled the
That's
entire fairground. So
yeah, pretty
then
awesome.
then
Good
we
luck.
ask, and the people go, well, if we buy two spots, I go, it's not about the money, it's about letting somebody else have a good spot. And the tent areas, you can put a tent over your car and still have a little bit of room. So I think mainly get them to understand that we are crowded, you know, and but it's a pretty It's a pretty easy group. How's that?
Some good parting advice, though. Come for the show. Come
Yeah.
for the whole experience.
The
It's a free
experience.
thing. Do the parade, do the poker run, eat the food, enjoy the show. That's pretty much what I took from that. And then you gave us the dates earlier, but we'll say them again: November 7th, 8th, and 9th this year in 2025. We can't tease the shirt design, but we can say
It will be different.
it's going to be different and new. That's a big enough tease.
We have listened to our customers like, what? I don't look like the shirt we had last year. Going, you're right. I blew that one. But
I get them every year. I get the coin too. I love them.
yeah.
Part of the fabric. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been a fan of Bug Jam for a long time. So yeah, man, awesome. All right, well,
and just one thing I'm putting on my end. If people
yes.
got good ideas, I am so open for it. Like I said, I think you're going to do the stereo thing for us this year. Or we got a commitment on?
I'm gonna be happy to do it. You got a commitment on that for me, no problem. And I got my buddy Alan that's gonna jump in and help out too. But that is so cool, and I'm absolutely down for that. Again, I want to thank you. The community wants to thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy. We certainly appreciate you coming on and taking your time to tell us about the biggest show in the Southeast. For Volkswagen enthusiasts.
Without our customers, we wouldn't have that title. Because it's a group effort between a lot of people, and I'm very proud of what we've accomplished over the last 10 years.
Well, it is one hell of a ride and a show, and hats off to you again. Thank you for your time. I will look forward to chatting with you again soon. I'll follow up with you. I'm a text guy. I'll probably text you. You could probably tell just from my style of communication as well. I'm very punctual. So
I'm not, as you can tell, I'm like, oh my. I'm afraid if I open the email, it'll get shuffled in all the other ones.
Right. So you stay at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to stay there. Then when I got time, I can talk to him, but.
And that's a wrap for this episode of DubLife Diaries. Thanks for riding along with us and diving into these incredible stories of the people and the dubs that drive their dreams. If you love today's episode, don't forget to subscribe or hit that follow button so you never miss an adventure. Do you have a story to tell or know somebody else who's living the dub life? Awesome. Reach out to us. You can find us on all socials at DubLife Diaries or shoot me an email. I'm not hard to find. DubLifeDiaries@gmail.com. Until next time, keep the engines humming and the wheels turning, and always follow the road that inspires you. This is Joe Person. I'm signing off. I'll catch you on the next ride.